Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We'll see if we get a few more people. We had quite a few people RSVP to this class. So we'll give everyone a minute or so to realize they needed to register and get logged in here before we get started too far along the road. Let me make some introductions. My name is Melissa McCoy. I am one of the directors of career development. I work out of the Reading, Berks, Lancaster, and Lebanon area. We are excited to offer, this is the first time we're offering this class, so be kind. We are going to be talking about conducting real estate reviews this afternoon. The content for most of this class came from the Ninja installations. And if you have not signed up for a Ninja, I know there are some Ninjas on here that will probably agree with me that it is one of the best things that you can do. A fantastic way to promote your career and promote yourself and invest in yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. We want to talk today, like I said, sorry, I thought I was going to come to the right screen, about conducting real estate reviews. Think to yourself about your financial planner, your doctor, your primary care physician.
Sorry, yeah, I apologize. You have a price that you're thinking of.
Chrissy, can you take over as host, please? When you have those kind of trusted professionals, your accountant, your tax advisor, you have annual meetings with them without them necessarily trying to sell you services or do anything. They're just trying to keep you up to date on how things are in that industry. And that's kind of what we want to project with our real estate review. Some of the things that it is and some of the things that is not, we'll talk about. It's really just a simple market update. We are not going into a lot of depth. It is not a full-blown CMA, and you'll hear me say that several times this afternoon. It's an in-person chance to have some conversations with either people in your sphere of influence or past customers, maybe an area that you want to farm. It's that opportunity to have those conversations, to ask forward questions, to listen for pain points, to listen for things that are changing in their lives so that you can perhaps provide services to them. That does not necessarily mean that you're there to sell their house. You're there to be a proactive, trusted real estate advisor. You may be providing them with resources for adjusting their insurance or refinancing. They may not be ready to sell. And it certainly is not a sales pitch. It's not a listing appointment. It's not designed to convince them to sell, whether they're thinking about selling or not. It is a very quick report that you are going to do. It is a very quick appointment. And it's something that absolutely should be done in person and should not be emailed. You'll see, and we'll say this a couple times this afternoon, that by listening for those, asking those questions and listening for those things that are changing in their lives, that's the opportunity that we're looking for. Typically, the most common outcome from a real estate review is not a listing appointment, but is a referral. Maybe it's a referral of someone that they know in their sphere of influence. But that's what we're after. Okay. So who are we presenting these annual reviews to? Well, obviously the middle bullet, your past clients. On their anniversary month, I would reach out to them, congratulate them on another year in their home, and remind them that you have this annual service that you provide. Certainly your sphere of influence. Anyone, and there are a lot of new agents and accelerate agents in our class this afternoon. We all know those people who bought a house 3 months before you got your license. Those people can become yours. Adopt them. I guarantee that in most cases, their agent is not following up with them as much as you would, as much as we've trained you to. So anybody that has purchased and not used you, you can adopt them. They don't have to be your past customers. They can be someone else's. Maybe it's a area that you really want to farm, and so you've knocked on some doors and had some conversations. Reach out to those people again. Let them know that there is activity in their market and that you want to keep them up to date on what's been happening. Okay. It doesn't have to just be past clients. All right. Anyone in your sphere of influence, anyone that you know, you certainly can do one for. Okay. As with all typical classes, I can only see a handful of you. So if there are any questions, don't hesitate to put something in the chat box, or feel free to interject and we can answer the question as it comes up. So what is included in that real estate review? Remember, the goal of this whole real estate review appointment and the report itself is to provide a market update. It's providing that opportunity to talk to those clients face to face. It's providing the opportunity to talk about any upgrades that they may need to be, that they might be thinking about doing in their home, or perhaps they need to upgrade their insurance coverage because now all of a sudden their house, the value of their home has gone up substantially. It can be about refinancing. Perhaps they have reached the point where they no longer need to have PMI and you want to remind them of what they need to do to get that removed, or refinance if it's an FHA loan, and any type of future investments or projects that they might be thinking about. Keep in mind, this is only a 15 to 30 minute appointment. It's not a long drawn out process or presentation. So what do you include in the report? We'll show you here in a minute. I'll demonstrate doing one on Bright. It is a very focused report using either zip code or school district to kind of hone in, and then maybe even going even more specific to a certain neighborhood. You want to include all of the statuses for the last 12 months. And here's where it differs from a typical CMA that you might do, at least that I would do. When I do a CMA, I'm looking at my actives all grouped together, my pendings, and my closed. Here you want to sort by street address, because a consumer is going to be thinking about, oh, that house on Church Street or the house over there on Oak, I wonder what it sold for. And so it's by sorting by address, it's going to make it very easy for them to use. I would suggest printing out a map so that you have a map of that whole neighborhood, along with basically a one-line report. And I've actually created a format in Bright so that I have a specific display with specific information for this, specifically for real estate reviews. Now, I might also print out the full customer report for a list, any active listings, especially if they are close by, just in case they would ask about them. So that's my information about the market. I might also include the Industry Watch report from Bright, just because it is a very consumer-friendly, visual, easy snapshot of what's happening in the overall market. You can also include a flyer from Home Sale Insurance that they might utilize if they needed to, like I said, increase their insurance coverage based on how much the value of their home has changed. And then you also want to include some information from Home Sale Mortgage about refinancing or home equity options. If they're thinking about refinishing the basement, that might be something that might appeal to them. Okay. Any questions on what goes into the report?
Where would you find the refinancing from home sale? You just reach out to your loan officer?
Yep, they should be able to help you. And they have some marketing materials already created so that, you know, just ask them either for a flyer with their information and refinancing options, or see what they already have created, or maybe they can create something. Good question, Africa. All right, so let me go into Bright real quick. I want to show you how easy this is to do. We're not analyzing information like you would with a CMA. We're doing just a real quick look at what has happened in a market. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go to my search. I'm going to focus on a neighborhood in Berks County because it's what I'm familiar with. You could do the same again by zip code in Maryland or school district anywhere in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to take Berks County. I'm going to take Wilson School District, and there is a neighborhood in Wilson School District that I'm going to focus on, and it's called Lincoln Park. But it's certainly would not show up here if I tried to do anything. We all know not to search by subdivision or neighborhood. I'm going to use all of my statuses, and I do want to go back for a year. So I'm going to change each of these statuses from 180 days, which is their default. I'm going to change those to 365 so that we can look at, so if I can remember to delete the one.
And you said you saved this search specifically for,
I
and
have
so you made all these changes and you saved them so you don't have to change them every time.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's a good, I just make sure they heard that and that they know.
Yep, and I'll show them that display here in a minute, Eddie. Yep.
Great, thank you.
Yep. So I have in this whole school district 774 matches. Now, I could do that report if I wanted to, but like I said, I wanted to focus on a particular neighborhood. So I'm going to go to map. I'm going to zoom in here so that I can focus on, you can see right here is Lincoln Park. And as I zoom in, we'll get some properties that will come up here. It's in the middle of my screen. So I'm going to use the polygon tool and come up here, and I'm going to draw a shape just around the area that is considered Lincoln Park. Okay. And I'm going to go then from 774 properties down to 25. All right. So when I go to look at my results, I have, again, this format that I have created, a display that I have created called Real Estate Review. And you can see it sorts in the normal, my default, just like anybody else's, would be to look at those coming soons, the pendings, the closed, but I'm going to change this to sort by address. Now, the OCD person in me kind of hates that they're not in that typical order, but when you think about how a consumer would use this report, they're going to want to look at what's on Amherst Avenue, what's on Jefferson, what's on Wellington, and by having it sorted by the street address, that makes it super easy. The display that I created and saved in Bright, and it's called My Real Estate Review, basically includes their status, obviously the address of the property, bedrooms, bathrooms, And just like a CMA, it includes the above grade square footage and the lot size so that I can make sure when we're looking at it, remember, we're not doing a CMA. We're not going in and saying, well, your house is a 2-story, so we only want to look at the 2 stories. We're looking at anything and everything. But this at least gives me some bearing on what I'm comparing things to. I do have in here, just because I'm curious, what the list price was, the original list price, and then if that went up or down, what they closed at. And so you can see that some of these have had some price decreases. A lot of them went up over what their list price was. I do have days on market on here, and I have a date so that I know that where this fell and when it happened in the last year. Okay. Just a real simple custom display that I created. And by coming up here and clicking on the little pencil and paper to manage that display, any changes that I make that's how I would save it. Okay. And you can see that it has updated. So I have 25 things here in my report that I need to print out for my clients. So all I would do is go to select them all and go to print. And again, I'm going to print that with my real estate review format. Now, I also want that map to come along. So there is an option to do a map with a client one line. So I'm going to print both of those at once. And let me just preview that so you can see what that looks like. So here, keep in mind, the header does line up when you actually print it so that it doesn't offset like that and look kind of off center. But here is that information in street sorted order from Amherst Avenue down to Wellington Avenue. That all comes on one page. Then here is my map of the neighborhood. And it does provide, again, this key down here to, again, same order in alphabetical order by street name, but then it coincides and you can use that number to follow. Number 8 up here is 200 Elmwood, and I can find that here. All right. So just a simple 3 pages is all I'm going to print out for them. Again, I can preview that to see what that's actually going to look like. I would obviously print that out in color. But here is that first page of that real estate review. The map with the key to the map. Any questions on that? All right. Why does it keep doing that? All right. So let's talk about scheduling that review. Ideally, you want to remember, you want to do this in person. All right. So you're going to call and try and schedule it. It's not a listing appointment, so it doesn't have to be at their house. If they want to meet for coffee, if you want to stop by their office because you're going to be in the neighborhood, that's fine. The only caveat, the only thing that we strongly urge is don't email it. If you can't do it in person, what we do suggest that you do, print out that report like you were going to take it to them, do some highlighting, write some notes, put some stickies on it, put it in good old snail mail and send it to them. And then don't forget about it. The idea is to have these conversations, remember. So if they can't do it in person, follow up with them on a phone call and go through it, talk about some of the notes. But remember, our goal is to be listening for those opportunities, listening for the referral opportunities. So use that ninja phone call process where you start with a hello and qualify the time. Hey, I was running into a meeting in a few minutes, Eddie, but I was hoping to, glad I caught a hold of you. How's the family? Eddie's going to answer. And then I'm like, Eddie, the reason that I called, I saw that there was a home in your neighborhood that just went on the market. I wanted to see what the market was doing in your neighborhood. And so I prepared this report and I already have it ready for you. I was wondering if we could get together maybe Saturday morning around 10, or if that doesn't work, maybe some evening next week, which would work best for you. And then remember to follow up again with a forward question. It's so important to work in that second question because you want them to really feel like this is about them and you are their trusted advisor, all right? That you're not on the phone just for this reason. So I'm going to ask about the dogs. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. That picture you posted on Facebook is just adorable. I can't believe how cute those puppies are. Great. I look forward to following up with you on Saturday. Can't wait to see you. Okay. Make sure you work in those forward questions because that's what makes the difference between somebody that is building that relationship and somebody that's trying to sell. Okay. We do have some dialogues, and I will mention that we'll send out this slide deck to everybody that is here on the class today. So you don't have to try and memorize these. And again, we never encourage you to memorize dialogues. We want you to just use them as guidelines. The most important thing that I want to make sure you understand when you're calling to set up this real estate review is the fact that you have already created it. Because it would be very easy for Eddie to say, oh, you don't have to do a report for me. We're good. We're not thinking of moving. That's not the point. You want to have already created it. It's only going to take 15 minutes. So you want to make sure you relay that to them. Okay. There are a couple versions on here. I saw there was a new listing in your neighborhood and thought of you. I thought you might be interested in how the real estate market is influencing the value of your home. I have created a packet for you and would love to get together and catch up. It's only going to take 15, 20 minutes. I'm happy to drop by your house, or we could meet at my office or Starbucks, whatever's easiest for you. Okay. Or this is, for past clients, or if you're deciding to adopt somebody else's client, somebody else, if they purchase their home with somebody else. One of the real estate services that I like to provide for my clients is a consultation to sit down with them and go over their value of their home, evaluate any real estate opportunities. I like to do this on an annual basis. I think it's important that you are updated on the current market so that you stay properly insured or aware of any other opportunities. Again, I've prepared that a report for you. All right, work it in there that it's already completed. When's a good time next week for you to get together? I'm happy to drop by the house. Again, can we do it Thursday or Saturday? Same thing in the third one is part of my service to you. I prepared a package of information. I've included everything that's currently on the market, under contract, expired, got canceled, and obviously the things that have closed or settled in the last year. I think you might find it really valuable, and I'd love to show it to you. Again, re-emphasizing that you have already created that report. Okay.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I like that third one where you include, it's part of the service, my service to you,
Yep.
because it sells value. Your
Yep.
value, you are important. It's a service you provide. I think that's a great comment there. So.
Yep, absolutely. Because remember, we're trying to differentiate ourselves as the real estate advisor, you know, that's not looking to sell. We're looking for that relationship. So here we go. We're ready to do the review. Keep in mind, you're not there. You're not pulling out all of your listing presentation. This is only a 15 to 30-minute appointment. Make it fun. It's a chance to catch up and see what's going on in each other's lives. We can't say it enough. You can't use this as a sales opportunity. You are not there for a listing. You're providing this as a service, again, showing your value. You want to make sure you're listening for those referral opportunities, whether it's there's the client's sphere of influence or themselves. They may not even realize that they have pain points and are going to be wanting to do something in the future. And then there are some magic questions that we like to make sure you can kind of work into this conversation. You know, what are the long-term plans for your house? Are you thinking of adding a pool or finishing off the basement? If you could wave a magic wand and live anywhere, you know, my answer would be, I'd love to live at the beach. Well, let's figure out how we can make that happen. Is real estate part of your wealth plan? You know, a lot of people are getting into real estate as an investor with investment properties to provide income. What are your dreams for your kids or grandkids? Focusing on not just the transaction, but everything that's important to them. Okay. You do have the possibility that they're going to say, after you talk to them for 15 minutes or so about what's happened in the market, they're going to come back to you with, okay, so what do you think my house would be worth? Remember, this is not a CMA. Okay. What you want to do in response to that is try to figure out why they're asking. Are they thinking about, again, getting a home equity loan so that they can finish off that basement? Or are they thinking of selling and, you know, really do want to know what their value is? Figure out what their why is, and then set up a separate appointment to come back and do a full CMA. Take a look at what those true comparables are. Because in my list of those 25 homes, those aren't all really good comparables. There are ranches in there. There are split levels. There are 2 stories. We would never just take 25 random houses and come up with a value. We want to do a full CMA. So set that, you know, that's your response, that you want to return and go back, do a full CMA and return and discuss that with them and set up that appointment. Remember, referrals are the most common outcome of that real estate review. That's what we're there for, okay, is to get those referrals. So, any questions? Anything new? It's really a quick, easy reason to reach out to your clients. I know the real estate reviews are a new concept. They are a ninja concept. I can't stress how impactful the ninja installations are. If you're thinking about doing that, you know, this is not a commercial for a ninja, but it certainly is helpful. And it will be helpful to you, to your career. Any questions about anything? Go ahead, David.
Yeah, hi, I have a question. I understand how you're saying that the overall purpose for this real estate review is to get referrals. But where in that presentation though, I didn't hear you actually ask for any.
The purpose isn't to get referrals. That's typically what the outcome is.
All right.
Okay, so the purpose of this is having a face-to-face conversation and building that relationship. That's the purpose.
It's
Providing value to your clients.
getting in front of your past clients to always stay in touch with them. Let them know you're still available to them. So,
Yep.
I'm sorry, Melissa.
Oh, no.
And
Oh,
this
okay,
is
yeah, all right, then I
not-
misspoke. I understand that, but then if you're hoping that a referral is an outcome, do you just let that happen organically, or do you at some point ask, say, I mean, I just didn't see how that's necessarily going to come up unless you ask for it. I don't have a problem asking for it, but how can you transition to get that?
Go ahead,
So-
Chrissy.
I think part of it is you want to provide this as a service so that, and this is not something that a lot of real estate agents do.
Nope.
I would say probably 98% of people do not follow back up and do not say, hey, are you like, just like a financial advisor? Like I meet with my financial advisor like twice a year. This is how your portfolio is doing. This is how everything's going. And you know what? When I'm making a major like decision with my money, he's the first guy I call. And then anyone that like I meet that is like, hey, you know, I'm thinking about that. I need to like meet with someone who has a better understanding of money. I'm going to refer him because he reaches out to me and he makes sure I stay up to date on everything. And he takes care of me. So if you're taking care of your clients and getting face to face, you're gonna stay top of mind, and they're gonna refer people out to you. The other thing I would say is make it look pretty. Don't just bring like a blob of papers and plop it down in front of them. Like do one of the like, I don't honestly know why I have a comb bind in my office, but I do. Comb bind it. Or spiral bind
Yeah,
it
make it
in like
look
a little,
like this.
yeah.
And
I just have the comb part.
all offices have those binding machines and materials in their offices. So use them. They're really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, make it look pretty. And then, you know, I leave stuff all over my house. That would probably sit on my microwave for like 3 weeks. And if I have friends over, they might take a look at it and be like, oh, what's this? Like, especially like I had staff over a couple weeks ago and she saw something in my house and was like, what's this? And like with your friends, they have no problem going through like the stuff that you leave on the microwave. So then they're like organically just naturally coming up.
Well, and the other thing that you're doing is listening for those pain points in those conversations. So you're catching up with them, finding out what's going on with their kids. Maybe they found you know, they mentioned that, you know, their daughter's expecting a baby or moving back to the area or moving, you know, their son-in-law got a new job and they're moving to, you know, those are the kind of things. It's not necessarily the people that you're speaking to that are going to have those business opportunities. It's being open to all of those other opportunities that they may mention while you're face to face having conversations with them. It really is truly the idea is to have using the real estate review, the report, as a opportunity to reconnect with someone in your sphere or a past customer. So, any other questions? It was a short advanced class, but there's not a lot to it. It's just important. And we can't stress enough that you give it a shot and try it.
Well, and that's the thing too. You know, the first time you did a listing presentation was probably not the same as you're doing listing presentations now. So things you're gonna learn, you're gonna grow organically by doing it. And certainly don't practice on your clients. We're never advocating for that. Practice so that you're comfortable with it, but you're going to become more comfortable with it by doing it. it's better to get it out there than to not do them and wait till it's perfected before you start doing them.
Yep.
Can you email us the PDF for that?
Yes,
Right.
I'll send the slide deck to everyone that attended today. Kira mentions that one of the agents in her office does her real estate reviews and sends them out in bright colored envelopes so that it draws in attention and doesn't get lost. Absolutely. The more you can, if you have to mail it, the more you can make it stand out and make it look impressive. The more you can customize it, the better. And then absolutely follow up with that phone call to discuss it. Because it's all about the conversation. The real estate review report is just the tool to generate those conversations. Any other questions or comments? Eddie, Chrissy?
No, thank you so much. It was great. First time I've seen it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, great. All right,
I had
guys.
I had a quick question.
That's okay,
So-
Africa.
So like the four questions are like family, occupation, something.
Recreation. So how's your golf game? You know,
We're
Are your
about,
kids-
we're about, That was
recreation and then
Sorry.
dreams.
Dreams. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
And by dreams, we mean, do you want to retire at the beach? Are you still thinking of, you know, investing in real estate now that the kids are in school? You know, those kind of dreams, not who
Mhm.
you dreamt about last night.
And Ninja does have a ton of resources of other things that you can put in there. So if you know that, or like, it's great to follow up. So maybe they said, you know, one of their dreams is they'd love to, you know, get an investment property. Ninja has a great resource of, I think it's called Give Your Kids a Chance. And it's talking about putting your kids through college by buying investment properties and how that kind of works. So make sure you talk with your people and don't just like leave it hanging. If they're like, yeah, you know, I've always wanted to get into investment properties, then you have to follow up with them and say, hey, these are some resources that you have.
Mhm.
And that's another touch that you can have. So, you know, part of Ninja is doing your 10 daily contacts. If you have a good flow of real estate reviews and you're doing 2 a week, you're calling 2 to set up for the next week. You're seeing 2 this week. You're following up with the 2 from last week. So you have a lot of contacts already rolling. You're doing those forward conversations constantly. And that's just with real estate reviews. So this is a fantastic opportunity to get in those 10 live forward conversations.
Yep. Excellent. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? We still have plenty of time. Don't want to rush anyone at all. All right.
All right. Thank you, Melissa.
Really, I'm happy
Thank
to
you.
finish early. All right, guys. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
thank you so much.